What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of my Mariners CaP franchise series here on YouTube, where I control the Mariners, try to bring them to glory, while also following about 40 or so creative players that are created from my Twitch and YouTube community. And let's see how they progress and see who can be Hall of Famers. This episode is an episode that I forgot. It was brought to my attention that I forgot to do a CaP recap for this previous season. So it's going to be a little bit out of order here. The season has not started yet, if you see. So the season has not begun yet. But it means that we are not going to be able to see last year's improvements. Because I totally forgot to do it. So you won't be able to see the specific improvements, but we will still see something. You'll still see how your guys are doing. So we have two more we have to add, actually, but we are sitting, I believe, at 37 right now, 38 maybe. So we will begin here. I like to sort by age because it's a little bit easier to see. So Tristan Clark, that's the one that we just added. So there's nothing to look there. The Orioles do have Reynolds and Squiggles, so we will find him. They're 22 now. It's been 4 years. That's crazy. Mr. Squiggles, though, are we 2028? Hold on. I believe we're 2028, yes? Okay. Wanted to make sure that he just didn't play last year, but that's not true. Okay. So back to Squiggles here. 262 average, 20 bombs, 83 RBIs, a huge career high for him. Look at the attributes. He's up to an 81. Again, cannot see what they improved upon last year because I screwed it up. But this is where Mr. Squiggles is at. 22 years old, 81 potential. And hopefully still online to get most of these starts in center field. Frank Reynolds is the other guy too, struggling a little bit. 231 last year, tied his career high in home runs and RBI. But only played 75 games and is only a 74 overall. Frank Reynolds does have an 88 potential, but he is struggling to get there. The offensive stats, the defense is just not improving at a big clip. So we will see how Frank Reynolds will continue to progress. To Boston, we do not have anybody on Boston. Remember, Tony Cummins was traded to the Cubbies, so Boston is clueless right now. Yankees, we do have two. William Bianchi and Daddy McHomersworth. Here is McHomersworth, 8 home runs, 28 RBI, 272 in only 44 games. Going to the awards, make sure we didn't miss anything. He was an all-star 2 years ago. The attributes, he's up to an 83, as McHomersworth is a 91 potential, so he has a little bit more growth. But those offensive numbers are looking mighty, mighty fine as a 22-year-old. William Bianchi next up. No awards for him. Look at his stats last year. He played in 143 games. Career highs all around the board. 22 home runs, 93 RBI, 130 hits. Did strike out 140 times. But in 521 at-bats, that's not terrible, I guess. It could be much, much worse. Did swipe 14 bags as well. He is an 81 with only an 85 potential, so he is near where he is going to be for the Bronx Bombers. Tampa Bay does have one, and it is Kevin Shepard II. Played in 135 games last year and murdered the baseball. 291, 31 bombs, 87 RBI, and only struck out 113 times. Just a bit over 50% in stolen bases. Maybe he shouldn't steal bases anymore. But in 135 games, Kevin Shepard was clearly the man behind the plate most of the season. Big OPS. It was over, I believe, 9, if I'm doing the math right. Just over 900. So a great year for Shepard. He is 84 potential. 84 overall, I'm sorry, with a 93 potential. So he still has a ways to go. To Toronto, they do not have one. They traded their only one a couple years ago to the Pirates. Chicago, the South Side, has none as well. The Guardians do have two. We are looking at Neil Major, guy from a couple years ago. Still has not really improved too much. Still only a 70 overall, but he has a 93 potential, so he's got to start working his way up, though. Those per nines just needs to continue to get better. Still only a 70, but it looks like he is in AAA, so let's hope. The other one for the Guardians is the one that just got traded, and I think I passed him. And he's starting off hurt in his second year. He broke his shin. The number one prospect in baseball, I believe still, Dak Adamson, traded from the Yankees. I believe we saw this in our last episode. And he is starting off hurt in his first year, but it looks like the Guardians have him up. But he's on the IL. Weird. We will see where this ends up. But Dak Adamson, it looks like he is up in Cleveland. We will see if that remains, though. Broken shin, he's out for about a month, so he will miss a month of the season before he can get going. Detroit has nobody. KC has two. We are looking at Thiago Suter. I will look at Jack Meoff first because he's right there. 85 for Jack Meoff with that 88 potential. So he is almost maxed out, but he finally got up last year and pitched full time in the major leagues. Look at the numbers. Only 11 and 10, 3.19 ERA, only walked 60 batters in 194 innings, only 69 earned runs, and struck out 167. He did make the All-Star game last year. Jack Meoff is an All-Star for the Kansas City Royals last season. Thiago Suter. Looks like he's starting in AAA, but he played full time in Kansas City last year. They must have gotten somebody because he is starting at the Storm Chasers to start this year, which is a little baffling to me. The guy that was traded from the White Sox, I believe year 2. You see he played for the White Sox here, traded to the Royals. Now he's starting in AAA, which is very, very weird. 21 home runs, career high 59 RBI. Struck out a ton, though. That's got to come down. But an OPS almost 800. Very surprising that Thiago Suter is starting in AAA, but what can you do? 79 overall, age 22. Look at those contact versus left numbers. That's huge. So he is hoping to get out of AAA and back to the major leagues. Minnesota has two. And we are looking at Landon Howard, a top prospect here. His second year still is only 70 overall, not really improved. Not a ton. We're still waiting on some improvement from him. And Peter Griffin, the catcher who has struggled to improve. A 97 potential for Peter Griffin, and he has gained 3 points in 4 years. Played full-time last year, did not play well, only hit 218, 12 bombs, 45 RBI for him. So not a great year, but he is back up in Minnesota to start the year. We will go to Houston, who we know they have 3. They are maxed out with theirs. They have Hackatack, Brever, and Vigneault. I already forgot how to say it. There he is, Kyle. 20 years old. And he is an 80 overall already in 2 years. Played 139 games last year, 291, 25 home runs, 76 RBI, and only struck out 116 times, 17 to 22 on the base paths. So that's where you see that speed increasing a little bit as well because of those stolen bases. Where are the other two? Hackatack here, 83 overall. As a 22-year-old, we do see some awards. Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, we know that. He did win the Silver Slugger last year in second base. And, of course, we knew about the playoff MVP from a few years ago. 156 games. He finally missed some games. 20, almost identical statistics, some more extra base hits, a little less hits overall, but identical years for Hack Attack, 83 overall. He will hope to continue that in year number 3 in the majors. Cody Brever, the other one, 78 overall, 22 years of age. Last year, only played in 85 games. An OPS of just under 700 when he did play. 36 driven in, 8 bombs, 8 of 14 stolen bases. More of an off-day player right now for the Houston Astros. The Angels don't have anybody. Oakland, neither do they. Mariners, we know about the Mariners. We know about our guys, but we're going to look at them anyways. Jameson Cumbas, which is my creative player, 93 potential. He is 85 overall. Last year, played in 145 games, 24 home runs, 69 RBI. So the run production was a little lower, but the average was up. Did have an OPS of about 850 or so, which is pretty solid. Hoping to continue that 85 overall too. Needs to get that lefty up. I really don't want to turn him into a platoon player. So hopefully he can get those lefty numbers up, considering he is a switch hitter. So let's hope that happens. Mr. Furbush, kind of in the same boat here. He is an 82. We know that he got Rookie of the Year in year 2. Played 143 games last year, just down on the average, though, 229. Did hit 19 home runs, 63 RBI, but struck out 124 times. About 1 a game for Mr. Furbush. He is a little bit lower potential, though. He is 86. But he is our guy, so we're hoping he gets better and maxes out that potential so we can utilize him. Texas has nothing. We go to the National League. The Atlanta Braves do have 2. First one here is Big Papi at 82 overall with an 87 overall potential. Played in almost every single game last year for the Atlanta Braves. Hit 250. Drove in 101. Only struck out 140 times in 605 at-bats. Not even plate appearances. And hit 27 home runs. A great year from Big Papi at first base. Hoping he can continue, get closer to his potential here, and help the Braves. Antion Roussel is the other one, a high potential, 98 for him. He finally got some playing time. 110 games for the Braves. 15 home runs, 43 RBI, 235 and OPS at just under 700 in his first year up. He's an 81 overall with still 17 points to go, potentially. Hoping he can make a big jump here, especially with those offensive numbers in 2028. Miami Marlins have only one, and it's Jimmy Sweatervest. There he is. 80 overall. He's 22. He started out at the very beginning. 130 games last year. Career high 20 home runs. His average dipped a little bit, as did his OBP, but because of the home runs, his slugging goes up. Don't know if he's the everyday third baseman. He only played 130 games, so maybe switches back and forth. I am not sure. But Jimmy Sweatervest, still an 80 overall with the potential to get to 91, so still some growth for him, but those contact versus left numbers have got to come up. The Metropolitans have 2, 97 and 96 potential. They both should be here. Rendon, if he cared, is one of them. 86 overall already. Played in every single game last year. 26 home runs, 70 driven in. OPS of just, actually right at 800 for Rendon, if he cared. He is 97 potential, so he still has a ways to go too. Again, that contact versus left, if he can get that up, that's where these offensive numbers will skyrocket. Albert Pujols Jr. in New York. He has 96 potential, 85 overall. Last year, played in every single game as well. 250, 27 home runs, 73 RBI. Just is consistent. Will give you 25 bombs, 70 to 80 RBI. Not a bad way to keep your job if you are Albert Pujols Jr. He has the power versus lefty up, which is great. Get that contact up a little bit, but at least he's got the power, so he is a power threat from both sides of the plate for the Metropolitans. Philadelphia Phillies, we have two here. It is Big Daddy T is number one with his 98 potential at third base. Has not really played full time yet. He's only 21. He started in our second year, so plenty of time for him. He's only 72 overall. He is starting in Philly, though. He is up for the Phillies, presumably. I believe the rosters are set for every team as well. So Big Daddy T should be starting. I don't know how much he's going to play, but he should be up in the major leagues. 22-year-old Kyle Hart is the other one. And he is absolutely murdering. He was an all-star last year as well. He is an 87 overall, which is the highest we have so far. 96 potential. Look at those offensive numbers. My God. 80, 82, 70, and 73 last year. That is why. Played in every single game for Philly. 304, hit 33 bombs and drove in 102. And only struck out 123 times in 629 at-bats. No wonder he was an all-star with an OPS over 900. A superstar for Philly, as Kyle Hart is making his way to the Hall of Fame. The Nats, we got two here. It's the Cox and Smoke Show. You all know it. You all love it. Oh my God, but only one of them are doing well. Hugh Cox, the 99 overall potential, lost some playing time last year. Hit 283. Maybe he was hurt. I'm not sure. But only hit 3 home runs in 46 games last year. Not great. We know he was the rookie of the year in season 2. But with being a 99 potential, he has a ways to go. And I'm assuming those offensive stats are going to continue to improve. And we have just seen the start of Hugh Cox. Joey Smoke, on the other hand, is not doing as well. He is an 87 potential, but he is just not acclimating well. He played in year 2 and has never seen the national field again. It looks like he's up to start. But those lefty numbers, 53 and 54, have dropped significantly from where we put them to start. He needs to figure it out. Being a right-handed batter, you've got to hit from the left side. Or pitchers from the left side. He is not doing so. We will see if Joey Smoke can get back on track here and work closer to his 87 potential. The Cubbies have 3. They are maxed out. We know that. Cummins, Knocker, and Simmons. Brian Simmons, that's one of them. 86 for Brian Simmons. Played every single game last year. 25-77, 281, OPS over 800. Great year from Brian Simmons here. As that contact's getting up, which is great. Should be an everyday player again for the Cubs this year. Tony Cummins, one that was traded from Boston. 96 potential. 157 games for the Cubbies. 241, 18 bombs, 6-2 driven in. 142, 8 of 14 stolen bases. But he's an 85 overall with that big potential, so he should continue to improve. Hopefully those lefty numbers come up just a bit. Slobberknocker, the closer. He did not play in Chicago last year. They kept him in AAA. That's a little bit disappointing, but they kept him in AAA. Slobberknocker, a 73, but his potential is 91. So he has a ways to go still as a closer, especially a lefty. We will see how he does in AAA this year and see if he can work his way back up to Wrigley Field. The Reds have 1 and 1 only, and it is Jimmy Edmonds Jr. up to an 80 overall. Power versus left, he cannot hit him deep, but the 73 contact, at least he has some contact. Played 44 games last year, so still has not fully made his way back to the squad yet. 302 last year, though. Hopefully that'll give the Reds brass something to think about. 9 home runs, 25 driven in. For Jimmy Edmonds, with his potential of 90, he's got a ways to go as well. The Brew Crew have 3. We know this. Donnie Savior is one of them. He has really not gained anything in a couple years. Another one that is just struggling to get some ground here. He's a 69. He may have started as a 69, so he is just staying as 1, which is not ideal at all. The offensive number, especially power versus left, contact versus right, just not improving. Defense is improving a little bit, but other than that, Donnie's got a little bit of work to do before he makes it up to the major leagues. Robert Jones, this is our guy here. This is the one that we were watching. Hopefully they did right by him, and they finally do. He played a full year last year, the number 1 prospect for so long, stuffed in single A for so long, finally made its way up to Milwaukee. Started 33 games, 11-11, 3.69 ERA, struck out 160 for the 99 potential Robert Jones. Only up from here for Mr. Jones. Chuck Norris is the other one for Milwaukee. His 94 potential, and he is up to an 80. Same thing for him. That contact and power versus left is what's bringing him down a little bit. But the contact versus right is pretty money. That's what's keeping him up. Hopefully he can get those left numbers up and not be platooned. Last year only played 19 games, did hit 2 bombs though, but only hit 203. So Chuck Norris, a little bit of work to do, even though he is only an 80 overall. The Pirates have 2. Where did I pass one? Oh, there's one. Timothy Ito has not played yet. That's not his stats. That's not his stats. It's the guy that I edited. But a 92 for Timothy Ito here. Nothing really to say about Tim Ito. Improved a little bit. Still has some work to do. Is only 20 years old. But definitely needs to get a little bit of work and a 90 potential. So he has a ways to go as well. Plenty of time. One of the other few caps that has been traded, and he will match Kyle Hart for the highest overall for our creative players. Haruo Terunofuji, traded from the Blue Jays to the Pirates. 78 games last year, 281, 12 homers, 43 RBI. I would presume that he is the guy now at first base. I'd be shocked if he wasn't. Look at those offensive numbers. His defense is good enough to play at first base. Terunofuji should be the everyday first baseman for Pittsburgh. I would be shocked if he was not. Nobody for the Cardinals. Nobody for the D-backs. Nobody for the Rockies. Thank God nobody for the Dodgers. We do have 2 on the Padres. And that will be Seth Rotz, a Nats fan, 83 overall. He does have an award, Rookie of the Year, and All-Star appearance a couple years ago. We already knew that. 101 games last year, 16 home runs, 42 RBI, hit 232. He has a 94 potential, so still a little bit to go for him. 64 power versus left. Hopefully he can get that up, but he's doing okay for being 22. Plenty of time for Nats fan. The other Padres cap is Juan Gonzalez. Struggling to get some footing in San Diego. He's played 9 games overall. He is 6 for 34 in his career, and he has yet to hit a major league home run. Again, 22 years old. He has a 91 potential. At least that's what he did when he started. So plenty of time for him as well. He is up in San Diego as well to start the season. So let's see if he can get some regular playing time in San Diego. Giants don't have any, and that will do it for the creative players, the cap recap. Going to the top prospects here, Dak Adamson is the number 1 prospect. Tristan Clark is number 2. Neil Majors 10. Donnie Saviors 11. Let's see if there's Landon Howard is 25. Tim Ito 27. And I believe everyone else is up on a major league roster. True. They are. They are. So there's the cap recap. Sorry, I am one episode late, so we couldn't see the actual improvements from last year. But that is where we are on as we enter our fifth season. Hopefully, we will start to get some actual real time, especially in the playoffs. I'm thinking about going into some games and watching your caps hit. So if your team is lucky enough to make the World Series, I think I'm going to start going in and getting a couple of bats. Nothing crazy, not the whole thing, but I think it'll be pretty fun to watch our caps actually hit if you can make it to the World Series. So that's going to do it here for the cap recap episode. I greatly appreciate you checking it out. Make sure you hit that follow, or not follow, subscribe. Make sure you like, toss a comment. Let me know what you think about the series. And if you want to add a creative player of your own to this franchise series, all you have to do is look in the description. There's a Google form, fill it out, and I will add you to the next spring training that is possible. We do have 2 more players that kind of came in late for this season. I am going to add them in the next episode. I know it's the start of the season, but I don't care. I'm going to add them anyways. So they are ready to go for season 5. So 2 more players the next episode. That is how we will start out episode 22, is by adding 2 more players, the Batman and Richard Cranium, to our franchise series. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. My name is West Coast 22. I hope you check out the next one. Have a wonderful day. We will see you next time.